Hello! Welcome to Friday. Glorious, glorious Friday. How is everyone? It is the Ham Radio Crash Course. You are listening to 40 meters single sideband right now. Let's get this party started. Everybody come on in. Grab a seat. Hey, W5KUB is in the house. That's awesome. Excellent. I'm glad they could stop by. We got a lot of news to talk about before we hit up this Hex Beam. Looks like we've got got Colorado Ham. Hello from Arizona. First time in a while. Garrett, what's up? We got some people that are taking their general tomorrow. That's awesome. Time for the Hex Beam indeed. Yes, yes, yes. Patrick Dickey, how's it going? Excellent. Very, very good. All right, let's turn this down a little bit. So yes, today we are going to be talking about my new Hex Beam antenna and some of the fun I've been having there, because we'll get into it. Don't worry. It's not all smooth sailing, but it's a good antenna. So we got a bad stream. I'm getting a notice that it is a bad stream. What's going on here? Hold on. Turn that off. Sometimes it gets a little quirky right in the beginning. Oh, somebody said it's gone. I can see you, but you can't see me. Hey, welcome back. Hopefully you can see me now. I don't know what just happened. Let's see. The chat room just went nuts. We back? Are we back? That was weird. Okay, Fan TV apparently sees me. Everybody sees me. I don't know what just happened. That was weird. Everything was green, and then I got a bunch of red lights saying bad, 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 bad. Okay, good, all good, all good. Okay, got the confirmation, all good. That was weird. Yeah, it barely 2 minutes in, and already had a stream problem. I had to stop the streamer and restart it, and that picked it right back up. So yeah, sorry for the shock there right at the beginning of the show. So as always, we're moving forward with ham radio. That's why we're doing this. We are personally, and we talk about it on the show, we're learning a little bit more, putting it in our arsenal of information that goes in our brain. And then we go out there and we try it. We get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better, because ham radio is a lifetime hobby, and we want to just keep exploring with it. As it's fun, we keep going, and if we start getting a little, hey, I've had enough of this little talking on the repeater thing, or, maybe switch over to FM satellites, or HF, which we're going to be talking a lot about an HF antenna today. Speaking of that, the homework, if you are so inclined, is make or set up an antenna. Maybe one that's outside, maybe one that's on the side of your house. Commercial or homebrew, doesn't matter, but just get out there and start playing with antennas, I don't know what it was, but when I made my first dipole, it started like these things, these gears started turning in my head of like, oh, I see, I understand how this works now. And I've been hooked on HF since that, from the first time I built a dipole and got that up. And yes, I also started with a QRP radio. But, from that moment, it just fomented more interest in the radio hobby. And so that's what we're trying to do here. People always say, hey, what's going on with ham radio? Are people still doing that? Hey, what's going on? Are hams dying out? No, I say nay, they are not. And everybody here on the Ham Radio Crash Course proves that. We've got an entire wide swath of an age group of people who follow us here on the HRCC, on the Facebook, on the Reddits, on the Discord. And speaking of Discord, we will be having a Discord after chat. The link is in the description for the Discord, which is a voice chat, a text chat, like chat room, a traditional chat room. And after every show, I go over there and we do a bit of a back and forth, talking about what's ever on your mind, whatever questions you have. So make sure you take note of that. Go join, because it's a short little process to get your membership, but it's pretty easy and it's a lot of fun. We're a really good group because we're really, really active. So if Zach pops in, he'll probably post the link. But Again, link is in the description. David says, hello from Virginia. All right. And Russ says, taking my extra tomorrow, 10 a.m. sharp. Good. Good for you. So we got a lot of news. So ham radio helping out the CA wildfires. Let me see if I can switch this over really quick. So we got this story over on the Facebook page. Just want to say thank you. I just programmed my Baofeng from your videos and happened to take it to work with me today. It's because of that I was able to get evacuation information fast and get my family to safety. And he's since gone on and talked more. This isn't about me and my Baofeng videos or anything like that. It's just somebody who needed something preparedness-minded, needed an ability to communicate, maybe outside of traditional communications because they may be overloaded or full, and ham radio is the perfect thing. When all else fails, ham radio works. So I really like that, and that just happened today. That's happening like right now. We're having literal wildfire problems right now in California, so that's amazing. Let me go back to my notes here, otherwise I will not remember what I'm supposed to say. Okay. I'm doing a talk on December 5th at the, I hope I'm not saying this the wrong way, the Gloucester County Amateur Radio Club, link is in the description, w2mmd.org. I believe that is New Jersey, so if you're in that area, I will not be there, but I will be Skyped in and I will be talking. They wanted to mention that they're doing a U.S. Islands Award program under usislands.org, and they've got an expedition to Petty's Island on December 8th. Very cool. If you follow podcasts and you enjoy Jeeps, I was on the Jeep Talk Show episode 358, and I was just answering questions about DMR, having a discussion. What is DMR? Why might you want it for an off-road situation? So I thought that was really, really cool. And we've got, are you still in there? I think he's still in the chat. K5KUB.com. Check out his website. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern, he does a live stream, and it's like a forum chat. There's a lot of people that are all talking at one time, or not one time. They're not just screaming at each other about different ham radio topics. And hopefully I'll be on soon, so that should be a lot of fun. I am very much looking forward to that. Maybe have some different topics, different things, maybe stuff we've talked about here, all kinds of fun stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. Videos coming up. So I've got a WinLink video in the hopper. I've got a tent spike antenna mast video in the hopper because I got asked a ton of questions about that. And hopefully we'll do a menu walk on a relatively popular radio that I have been asked to talk more about. So, without any further ado, it's time for the Brew Crew. Ooh, look at that dragon. The Elysian Dragon Tooth Stout. Excited about this one. All right. Yes, K5KUB. There he's in the chat. Excellent. Yeah, so a bit earlier time for some of you guys on the East Coast. That should be pretty fun. Raz, is that Bays or Bays Adventures? Breaker 559 California. I'm in California. What about? Where about are you? Yes. Okay. Look at that dark frothiness. Enjoy a good beer. Enjoy a good beer on Fridays. I appreciate that. Okay, so I've been talking a lot about this Hex Beam, and it has been on my mind a lot. So let's switch way over here. So you saw this. This is the RadioWavz.com antenna. I am not affiliated with RadioWavz.com. They just happen to be the company that I have bought my last two HF antennas from. Both the G5RV, which served me very well, had some issues with it, but the company is really good in their support, and they walked me through it. Now this Hex Beam, which is what you're looking at right there, a very ambitious undertaking, and we'll talk about that. So basically a Hex Beam is a 2-element directional antenna. If it had one more element and, was horizontal, it'd basically be like a Yagi, right? We've talked about Yagis in the past. Yagis are mentioned a lot in the ham radio question pool. So a Hex Beam is like a driven dipole type element up front and a reflector in the back. And the reflector, as we know from our directional radio antenna questions from the question pool, the reflector's a bit longer. So you're going to get kind of a frontal lobe coming out of the front of it. And how many focusing elements you have in front of that is going to kind of tighten that lobe and increase the gain. In this case, since it's a 2-element beam, you're going to get a much bigger lobe, and you're going to get kind of more of a wider propagation. I'll show you in 3-dimensional space because I got some images from RadioWavz. So I had I had quite fun. Let's show some pictures, and I'm going to do some drawings here because I think it's going to need it. I will be doing a review of the whole antenna once I get everything sorted out, because we're going to talk. I've got some problems which I think we're working through, so it should be good to go soon. But today is going to kind of talk about my trials and tribulations. So let me go here. Okay, so my whole trials and tribulations were based. Yeah, Patrick says it looks like you're trying to call aliens. Yeah, so it's impressive. I gotta say, my wife was not too thrilled by how big the antenna is. It is quite big. It is. I have a 40-meter element on it, right? Hex beams are traditionally 20 meters at the top end. Mine has a 40 element, and which means it's over 22 feet in diameter. Think about that. That was pretty serious stuff when she pulled into the house the first day and saw that. So basically, if you follow my Instagram, this is a big ferrite core. And what you do with a ferrite core is you wrap cords through it, and it hopefully kills RFI. In my case, if you followed my Instagram, I posted a picture of a refrigerator. I found out that my refrigerator gives off a heap of interference, and that was actually what was giving me interference on field day. So when I put that hex beam up, it's pretty sensitive, and I just got slammed with RFI. Yes, KG, who is it? KG5 UBB asked, didn't you get that antenna because your wife thought the G5RV was ugly? Yeah, so I guess I doubled down with an uglier antenna. So I thought her problem was that the G5RV was too high up, and so I went with something that's a little bit lower to the ground, but it's much bigger. Apparently that was a bridge too far. So I got slammed with all this RFI coming out of the refrigerator, and ended up tripping breakers, shutting everything down, and then started going one at a time, turning things back on. Sure enough, refrigerators like our, what is this, a KitchenAid, creates a lot of RFI in some cases. So I went to Palomar Engineering, I think it's called. You can look up Palomar Engineering on Google. And I bought a big old ferrite core, and I bought some other stuff from them, and wrapped that cord up like a so, and pretty much knocked down the RFI. So this is what the hex beam looks like when it comes to you. It's wrapped up really nice in a single box. It's about 45 pounds, all things considered. That whole thing, 45 pounds, which is pretty good. And the stays, which are the big arms that are coming out of the side of it, that's all fiberglass. And they've got really nice metal collars that basically, lock into place really nicely. And they've got really, really nice wire guides that I'll talk about. And then those bags full of what looks like black things is the cords and all the other goodness. In the center of the fiberglass poles is the center mast, which is kind of the heart and soul of the whole thing. So here's my station as it sits today. I'm going to build some shelving, but that new box on the left-hand side, that's that Yaesu rotor controller that we did a video on. So that's working now. You got to have a rotor control if you're going to have a directional antenna. And this is me building the hex beam. So this is just the center mast, which is obviously that big part in the middle above the tower, and then all the stays. And the way the stays work is they come out completely flat, and they've got cordage at the end. And you run the cordage along to the top of that center mast, and it kind of puts it up like a flipped out umbrella. Okay? Yeah, Lady Patatas says, wow, that thing is wide. Yeah, it is. I bet your neighbors think you work for the CIA. I don't know, maybe. So that's it at around dusk, complete. Okay, so what's the difference here, right? This is just an empty skeleton. Now we've got the wires in place. See, because it's a multiband antenna. right? You familiar with Yagis, right? Like the tape measure Yagi or the one that's on my roof. You've got this horizontal piece and then lots of perpendicular elements, right? And they're straight. Everything's straight and angular. Well, this is a round directional antenna with a kind of sloping arms. So what that allows you to do is basically start at the high bands, 6 meter, 10 meter, 12 meter, 15, 17, 20, and in my case, I got 40 meters on this puppy. So it's like 25 feet in diameter. Garrett Larson asks, how did I mount the base to the roof? Great question. So, I'll go back. So that's the tower. That's a Glen Martin tower. And relatively inexpensive, actually. Good stuff. Real lightweight. And it's a 4-post tower. And what I did, this takes a little testicular fortitude to do this, but I took a rubber mallet. Okay, rubber mallet. And I tapped along the roof until I found a dull thud. And then I measured 16 inches on center, which is, for those of you who know who I'm talking about, those are the studs on your roof line, 16 inches on center in most cases. And I tapped again. If I found another dull sound, I knew I was pretty much on top of the stud. And then I took a drill bit with a really long, very tiny drill bit, and I just tested to see if I was on the stud. And William Blanton says, you hope. Well, that's why you go 16 inches and try again. Because if it's not, then you know you probably got something else and you got to kind of move until you kind of find 16 inch on center. Now, houses built in the 60s or something like that. And you guys will have this problem too if you ever play around with this kind of stuff. But if it's 16 inches, again, you hope, right? Maybe they were off a little bit. That happens. That happens in construction. So I got lucky. I only had to drill 15 holes, I think, before I found the studs. I did actually drill a couple of holes right through my roof. That I quickly patched with some Henrys, applied a little tar paper on it. Should be good, but I'll check it when the rainy season comes around. I'm not really worried about it. It's California. Garrett says, if you don't have attic space or a way up there. If you don't have attic space, you probably need to go with like a side mount, a mast that goes up the side of your house and then kind of bolts to the eave of your house to give you that stability. And then you can have the rotator up on top. That's totally doable too. If you got real cash, which I don't have real cash to do this, the next step would be to excavate out a 4-foot by 4-foot hole and put in a heliax. Is it heliax? I can't remember. A proper antenna tower, right? The vertical ones that you would climb. You need a 4-foot cubed space of concrete to mount that kind of thing. That would be the next way to go. That's expensive though. Yep. Roan, yep, NE2I says Roan. Yeah, this is a company that makes the towers. Olaf Ellsbury asks, are you in SoulCal? I am in SoulCal. Thomas Cravey, I finished going through your general playlist last week, then took my general exam on Saturday and passed. Thanks for your help. When are we going to start studying for the extra? I get asked that question every week. William Blanton says, do those power lines give you any issues? Surprisingly not. The issues that I had were with that refrigerator. That refrigerator was killing me. So ended up sorting that out. And now, in full disclosure, I have Cerritos is an underground power line city. The power lines you see in the background, those are like a long haul, but all the residential lines are all under the ground. I have a transformer in my backyard in an insulated locked box that's ran by Edison or something like that. Not my kid, the SoCal Edison. And I've taken radios, I've taken field strength meters, I've taken them out and put them right by that box, no problem. So I think I'm okay. So skeleton, then strung up ready antenna. Looks pretty good. This was the night that I completed it. I've got a big work light shining on that thing. And if you see on the left-hand side, you see how there's kind of like little circles? Those are actually like, how would you explain this? So if your wire was your element, your driven element, putting wires next to wires is basically affecting antenna length, SWR, and SWR. And that's what those little things do. They're actually a shortened 40-meter antenna, but is resonant on 40 meters. And it has a really good curve that I will show you shortly. David Kapler asks, what do your neighbors think of that? Nobody said anything yet. There's a better shot of those 40 loaded arms. For kicks, you should put a red blinking light on top. That's not a bad idea. The Wicked Perfect is asking, so those rings are for tuning. So I don't tune them. They came like that. But yes, I assume that's how you'd get that extra physical length. Garrett Larson, big work light on the roof right into the neighbor's house. Bet they weren't happy. Yeah, they were all right. I think most people know I'm a nut, so they kind of let me do what I'm going to do. Gene Pearson asked, tell your wife, W5KUB says, tell your wife it's a clothesline. Her friend actually said, that looks like a clothesline. When are we doing laundry? I'm like, you climb up there. You can do as much laundry as you want. Gene Pearson says, how does that do in the wind? So that's one of the reasons I got it. I don't have... So one of the upsides with the Hex Beam is that it has a very low wind load. I think it's under 2-pound wind load. Yagis do much worse than that. Because it's kind of a balanced antenna, it's not too bad in the wind. The problem is that it's kind of better for people like me that live in California and more warm climate communities where they don't get snow and ice. Snow and ice can affect this kind of antenna. So, lots of comments. We're getting lots of really good comments. Thank you guys. Appreciate all this. Yeah, down low helps too. The problem with being down low is that I'm not... the higher you get, the better you're going to behave on the lower frequencies. And I'm struggling with 40 and 80. Yeah, 80. This antenna has 80, which is one of the reasons I went with RadioWavz. I'm teasing this a bit because this is like one of the secret special things. So here's the antenna right now on 40 meters. You can see that's out of the band. So what's going on is talk to the guys over at RadioWavz, and they're really, really helpful. Basically, how they build these things is they've got long sheets of board with notches on them, and those notches are for the different elements that they need to cut. So they just run out links of cable and just cut them up. So they got the 6-meter driven elements, and then you've got your reflector, etc., etc. Right? Super, super easy. They just crank them out like that. Well, the 40 and the broadband dipole, which is on this antenna, I'll show you in a little bit, is cut in such a way that due to its close proximity towards the ground, it's shortening the antenna, which is increasing the frequency. So I've got a couple of hacks I need to do. That's why I'm not doing a review yet, because I got to get all this stuff sorted out. However, initial kind of workings on the 40-meter side, not bad. If anything I do is, it's all going to be up from here. So good stuff. I've got two things I can do. And the first thing is, they recommend actually putting some radials down on my roof. Not connected to the mast, not connected to the tower, just a quarter wave 40-meter radials, one going north, south, east, and west, and then eighth wavelength on the northeast or northeast, southeast, southwest, etc. So kind of like 8 radials, one set quarter, one set 8. And they believe that because, and they've tested this, because the antenna is a vertical takeoff antenna, that you can actually use radials to help sort out some of your SWR. So I was like, okay, I'll give that a shot. So that's what I'll be doing this weekend. Or I can just slam an extra foot of wire on that 40-meter element, which is super easy. It's I hope I have a better picture. Do I have a better picture? I wish I had taken a... You know what? Let me go back. Can you see it there? No, you can't. So the way it works is there are these wire guides, these wire stays. And they're like loops, but they're not closed loops. And what that allows you to do is you can slide the wire into it and it turns straight and then it's locked in, which makes it really, really easy to work on because you just go up there and twist it out and the wire comes out. So you can drop one of the elements out, work on it, and click it back in without having to restring the whole thing and turn it around, which is really, really nice. That ended up being very, very helpful. So, indeed. Let's see. Okay, so that's my 40 meter SWR right now. But here's how the beam works, okay? So what you're looking at is a vertical top-down view in red and a horizontal view of the radiation pattern for the antenna. So the top-down red, if you're looking right down like you have a drone flying over the top of it, this is the radiation pattern that comes out of the front of the antenna and some out the back. This would be for your 20, your 15, your 10, your 6 bands, right? Or your 6 meter band. And that's kind of the pattern that it puts out in this hex beam configuration. Now the top portion, so that vertical line, right, that's the vertical of the antenna. All the stuff to the right, or that way, that's that forward pushing lobe. And you see how it kind of like goes up and away, right? That's kind of how it behaves. Toys Are for Boys says, I'm late last time I was late. Love, hope family is feeling better. Yeah, everybody's feeling a little better. I'm the only one that's got the sniffles. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I use that battery-powered Navage nasal sucker thing, and that seems to work out pretty well for me. So here's a three-dimensional pattern, and the above shot, that's actually the two-element antenna that you're looking at. That's modeled in a computer, right? Yes, so NE2I nailed it, he says. He or she, because I can't tell from your call sign or from your handle there. Basically, the higher the antenna, the lower the takeoff angle. So, yes. With that said, I have got some crazy bounces that this thing is putting out right now. Like, I don't get... on the 40, the way it is right now, I skip most of the middle of the country, and I only get picked up on the East Coast, which is pretty wild. That could be bands, though. That could be conditions. So, what happened here? Okay. So, let me switch over here. So, here's a vertical shot. There we go. Here's a vertical shot of how the antenna is laid out. So, basically, this is the forward direction of the antenna, right? Out that way. So if you see a hex beam and you see something that looks like there's no wires on the inside of one of the pie slices, I kind of look at it like a pie. That's actually the forward facing part of the antenna. So the spot where there's no wires that are crossing in the front, that's the forward of the antenna. Everything on the sides immediately to the right and left of that open slot is the forward elements, the driven elements, and then behind that, usually separated by cordage, which is shown here, 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 and here, and here, and here. That's cordage that separates, it keeps an electrical separation from the front element to the reflector in the back. So when you string it, you kind of string it up as one thing, and they already have the cordage separating the driven element from the reflectors. Very nice design, very easy to set up. So, let me go back now. So that's kind of how... Now, what this antenna has that most other hex beams do not have, and was one of the primary reasons I went with it, is it has a dipole strung between the 17 meter element and the 20 meter element. So if this is the 20 meter and this is the 17, then this green line, the way this works is it comes out, in, out, and then back like a bow tie. I don't know if you can see that. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Try that again. So it goes out like a bow tie. And if one leg goes out the front of the antenna, then this one goes out the back. And it becomes a nice bow tie, what they call a bow tie dipole. And there's actually a resistor that it connects to. The ends of the dipole resistor connects into the back of the antenna. So with that dipole, you can do 6 meters through 80 meters, and you can use a tuner to get it into tune and where you want it to be. So it's kind of like the G5RV with a little bit of directionality. So I lost the G5RV, which was up. Oh, hey, thank you so much. Night Static. Your channel helped me get back on the air after being off for many years, and you helped my nephew get his license too. Thank you very much. Cheers to you guys, both of you. I'm glad you're back in it. What are you doing now? Are you a general? Are you working HF? Are you having fun on the VHF, UHF? Post in the description or in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Yeah, so I had great ambitions. I wasn't able to make this work, but I wanted to find a solar powered Wi-Fi camera that I could put on the roof during the live streams, so I could show you that thing whipping around when I got it on that rotor. So that's in the plans. I'm gonna set something up for that. Also, I really like the idea of waiting for some birds to land and then just hammering down and start transmitting. I only have 100 watts, so it's not really gonna hurt them, but. Wicked perfect. So is the old antenna for sale? I haven't decided what I want to do with the old antenna. Because once I got it down, I realized the wire installation was getting a little bad in the sun, and it starts the coating started cracking off of it. So I don't know how good that antenna is going to be. Okay, so that's your that's basically what the broadband side does. Now, so that gets you 20, right, through 6 meters as a traditional hex beam. And let me tell you, the moment I put that up, it was fine. It worked perfect. I at least doubled my QSO rate on FT8, and I was able to get out at least twice as far. So before from Cerritos, California, I struggled to get into Virginia on a good night, good being relative in the low sun cycle. But with this antenna, I can easily reach all the way into Maine on 20 meters. No problem. It's really, really nice. So from a traditional beam, you could just go with that and be done, and then go wires for your low stuff, 40 meters, 80 meters, that kind of thing. Because again, what do we know about this? That the low bands, they're you don't need a lot of gain. They work fine with wire antennas. You're okay with wire antennas. The higher stuff, they like the gain a lot. Wayne Dickinson says, really cool, but the hex beam doesn't look like it is HOA friendly. Yeah, it's not. It's not, guys. This is a huge antenna. I was kind of shocked. I mean, I knew that it was going to be, I knew that it was going to be at least 20 feet in diameter, but until you really get it going up, it's like, wow, I did not expect that. That is very peculiar. Case in point, I had utmost confidence that I would just build it on the ground and just one-arm it on the ladder and just climb that thing up. I got through putting the stays on, the nylon, or I'm sorry, the, what am I saying? What am I doing? The fiber, what? Wow, I just totally lost it. Surfboards. Whatever. The stays. I got so confident that I would just one-arm that thing, built, and put it on that mast, which I had done previously in the day. Fiberglass. Thank you, Lady Patatas. Got to the point where I was like, whoa, dude, this is crazy. Because it's basically like 40 pounds once it was all done. And 20 plus feet in diameter. So I didn't string it. I just went with the fiberglass stays and the cordage to make it go in the upside down umbrella pattern. And I carried it up. I did, but it was probably 10 pounds, 15 pounds heavier once I got all the wire on it. So no way that you could carry that up without a lot of help. Yeah, so NE2I says it's small compared to traditional beams, but it's three-dimensional, so it's more noticeable. That's a good point. And I ended up spray painting mine. All the fiberglass stays got spray painted with gray, light gray, primer plus enamel. And the idea being the sun just really eats up fiberglass. So that was recommended by the factory. So that's what I went with. So, okay. So this image takes you up to 20 meters. But I have 40. And so how they implemented that is they come with these extensions that come out to here. right? And I'll show you the connection points because that's one of the most interesting parts. So if this is the front, if the front side of the antenna, right, if the side that goes forward has all the connections for the driven elements, what they do is they've got a little balun in the back here. And that's where the 40 connects. And the 40 goes out like this, just like the other beam does. But it strings, ooh, how did I do that? But it strings all the way around. Looks like I'm playing Splatoon. Like that. And like that. And then the reflector comes around the back. So it's big when you get the 40 on it. It's really, really big. Okay? Which, it's pretty wild. And then to add kind of a flair to it, it's got these like loading coil type things on the front and side. Like that. Right? So now you've got, to get to 40 on a shortened wire, they add extra wire in these bundles on the sides there. So pretty intense. Pretty intense. Let me go back here so I can show you connection points. Okay. So this is actually looking at the back side of the antenna. The side that's kind of facing towards me, where this right here is a connection. That is a bad color for that. So here is like the 17 or the 15, and that's the 20 meter connection right there. That's going away. That's the forward side of the antenna. Well, right here, this connection right there where there's a wire connected, that's actually the 40 meter balun. And there's the feed point for the 40 meter balun. Here is the ends of the dipole. The broadband dipole connects below the feed point on the 40 meter element. Do I have a better picture of that? Let's see if I got a better picture. Okay. So, also recommended by the factory. So here's the broadband. At the bottom of the mast is where the broadband connector is. Now, that means this antenna has 3 feed lines. It has the traditional 6 through 20 band feed line. It has the broadband dipole, rotatable dipole feed line, and it has the 40 short feed line. It is basically 3 antennas crammed into one hex beam. And the way these work is they run into these are all choke baluns right here. The idea being that any RF that collects on the shielding or whatnot would be sorted out by that. Garrett Larson asks, what type of coax am I using? I am using LMR 400. Which means for a 75-foot run, that is $100. So I have $300 in just coax tied up in this thing. Which 75 feet I think is too much. I should have went with 50s all around. Yeah, what else? Oh, this is a better shot of those loading coils. So you can see, loading coils is the wrong term, but since I don't know a better one, that's what I'm going with. So all along here, you can see them. Okay. Flex type, yes. Yeah. So it's lightweight. It has low wind. It has a low, is it wind weight? Is that the word I'm looking for? There's a term. It's under 2 pounds wind load. Under 2 pounds wind load, so it doesn't really catch the wind. You don't really want to use it in a place that gets a lot of ice. Ice is kind of bad for the antenna. William Blanton, did you have to put guy wires on it? No, I did not. And that was one of the reasons why I went with this setup. Here's a better picture. So that's my tower. That's that Glen Martin tower. You can see it a lot better right there. So that's lag bolted in. That has 2 lag bolts per leg. That is not going anywhere because it's not up that high. You know, that's the reality of it. It's not up that high. Hey, DJ Snibs, thank you for the comment. And guys, I hadn't built one of these before, and I I bit off a lot. I did set it up in a day. Okay, I will be honest. I pre-built the tower. That's all I did. I went on the roof early in the morning and I finished up close to nighttime. So it took me all day to do it by myself, but I did it with the painting, with the running the wires, with putting strain relief on the wires, with, you know, doing all the patching on the roof. So if you had 2 people, you could blow through it pretty quickly. And so we're a little late into this. And I got to mention it, though, because it's important. The kit that RadioWavz puts out is amazing. Their customer service is amazing. The directions leave a little to be desired. I've emailed them and I've mentioned some things, recommendations that they should do, because they don't cover some things. Let me see if I can show you, for example. So this is all the instructions I got to set up that broadband balun. That makes kind of sense, right? You just go out one side this way, and you go out one side this way, and then it comes back in this way, and it comes back in this way. Well, comes back into what? Nothing's ever mentioned goes back into what. There's no paper, there's no instructions that say, oh, go back into that thing that looks like it's supposed to be there and you're not supposed to mess with it. Case in point, where is it? It's this guy. Let me go back. Oh no, Mr. Bill. Can I not edit it anymore? Bop, bop, bop. All right, let's just reload it. So if you didn't know any better, you see this thing here. You see this whole thing right here. Well, this part right here looks like some kind of resistor that you're not supposed to mess with, because it actually does connect into something. It turns out you're supposed to feed the dipole in through here, loop it a couple of times for strain relief, and then feed it back around and into these terminals for the dipole. That's not mentioned anywhere. So you kind of have to know what you're doing, or make a phone call or whatever. So in my case, I was doing this over a weekend, and you know, these people have lives. They don't sit at the office during the weekend, or maybe they do. I don't know. I may be able to talk to the owner. He's on He's on K5KUB.com. He's often in the group there. So I may be able to ask him, because it's an amazing kit. It's a really good kit. The instructions are a little light, though. So I think they're improving it, though. I talked to Kevin, who's really helping me out. So good stuff. And they're good people, because I literally talked to all of them. W5. Oh, I wrote... Did I write it wrong? I apologize. Hold on. Did I get it wrong in my notes? It's right in the description. That's what matters. It's right in the YouTube description. Sorry about that. Tom, sorry about that. I apologize. Man. Doing live video, you know, Tom understands this. Doing live video is always a testament to your patience. A lot of planning. D Big Pinoy. Yes. So he asked, anything special to prevent roof from leaking and rotting? Yes. So I use tar strips that go between the bottom of the tower and the roof, the shingles. So I would drill a pilot hole, right? Line up your roof, the tower where you think the point is. Run a pilot hole, really tiny pilot hole. Check where the stud is. If you're on the stud, drill out both holes, the pilot holes for the lag bolts. Do that for the whole tower, okay? Pick the tower up, move it, and you can buy tar strips. So what you do is you take your Henry's tar gun, goop gun, whatever, squirt that into the lag bolt hole, and then put the tar strip over the top of that, and then seat the antenna mast on top of that, and then lag bolt the whole thing together. And it will congeal and become one. So that's how it works. Yes, I am sorry, Tom. W5KUB. I apologize. And I'll take the demerits. I owe you 10. William Blanton. Doing live video is 99% planning, and then everything is going off track. That is true, too. We go off track quite a lot because, well, not just from actually going off track because we get good questions, but just going off track because it breaks. Because the stream breaks. because my 2011 iMac decides to die, which is always fun. Which I'm planning to deal with that too. So let's go back. Oh, here's a nice shot. I really like this picture. Look at that. That is the looming antenna over the top of my roof. I love it. I love it. That is funny. The wife is not happy about that. Not happy about that at all. I will note too, while I'm talking to it, the rotor is set to max north. It can't go any more counterclockwise, right? That's how you set it up. So it goes all the way north, no counterclockwise. Then you point the antenna north, okay? What you do at that point is you will wrap coax around the tower so that as it travels clockwise, it will unravel the coax from the tower and then roll it back on. So that's what you can see here. So running down, and then it goes around the tower like that, and then goes down to the roof, okay? You got to have that strain relief. Strain relief is probably the wrong term, but it's called a antenna coil or coax coil. So down like that, and then to the bottom of the tower. So I have actually 3 runs of LMR 400 that are doing that. Well, it's pretty intense. Man. So I'm almost there. I just got to get that 40 kicking butt. And we'll be good. David Kaplar, can it handle earthquakes? Sure. I don't know, but probably no more than my roof can. Oh, Jason Sieber is asking the $100 is my wife watching the stream question. I don't know, man. I don't know that I'm going to answer that. Amy Nikam. Hello, greetings from India. What part of India? India is a big place. William Blanton, have you done any QSOs with Russia? On FT8, I have, yes. On 20 meters, I did a ton. A ton. Yeah, first day, I was killing it to China, Taiwan, Korea, Russia. First day. Once the sun passed on the east, I started smashing it. SO3 runs of LMR. They all can't go into the... So how... Oh, very good. Garrett Larson asked, they all can't go into the... Well, I'll show you. I forgot to mention this. I was also planning on talking about this. So thank you. You're keeping the show going. Because I was almost out of things. I was going to pass it over to questions. Okay, so... this is the radio that's connected to these antennas, right? So the MFJ, right down here, the tuner, has 2 inputs, an antenna A and antenna B. Well, how do I do the third? With a switch box. Can you see if I move this? Ah, there it is. That's the switch box right there. And this, it's labeled with 2 Bs for BB, broadband. And so basically, what happens is I have the traditional Hex Beam, the 20 through 6, connected to antenna 1, since that's kind of the most effective antenna I'm using at this point. And then the second antenna connects to that switch box. So that's a very good question. And 40 right now for me is not doing great because I need to do some more work on it. Yeah, see, I question many things. We got some kind of spur there. Something. That's not human beings. So yeah, got to work on that. Oh, hey, Wicked Perfect. It's Christine on Wicked Perfect's channel. This is actually from Gun Websites. That's his traveling van with his late, lovely, wonderful dog, Oro. So he gave me that. Brett says, currently getting my Federation Technician license here in OZ, Land of Alls. Very good. Oh, he's in the channel! Gear Websites. Yeah, these are the ones that I had set up last night. I didn't even get out the awesomeness that you sent me today. I'll splash those out as I do these live streams. Yeah, man, the bacon and egg, that's one of the best ones, I think. That and the chairs against the wall. Well, we're rolling into the 10 minutes, so why don't you guys start posting some questions, and I will talk ham shacks. So I decided for funsies, I threw out a message, hey, it's ham shack season, so show me your ham shacks. And I got some, I think we've got some repeats here, unless this is an update. George Donaldson, I believe, posted this last time, but that might be updated. That's looking pretty good. I like a clean ham shack, because mine is never going to be clean, so I like it when I see it. I respect that. He's getting all, now he's just showing off. He's got his mixing board. He's got his LED track lighting in place there. That is on my short list of things to do. Jim asks, can you talk a bit about how you ground the tower? Aha, Jim. You're calling me out. It's not grounded right now. It doesn't have a lightning ground on it. Will I? Probably. Is it a huge priority for me right now? No. California is a very low, where I live in California is a very low chance of lightning. Doing a lightning ground does not improve my signal or my noise floor. It is a safe thing to do. However, if you take a direct lightning strike, even with some pretty severe precautions, you can still take damage. So, understand too, this is not a vertical, this is a hex beam, and it's a flattened kind of thing. No huge towers. What does that say, Gear? Is it even safe to be in this chat with that radar dish not even grounded? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's fine. CA does not get a lot of lightning. Tends to happen along the front of the mountains. Yeah, and to the east more, and even then not much. Yeah, so I'm in the middle of the basin, the South Bay. Joe Wilson said, did your analyzer die on you or just didn't want to use it for the 40 meter? What do you mean? I showed it. I showed it. Look. Where is it? Right there. That's the low point, which is 1.2 to 1, but it's at 7393 megahertz. So I need to bring that in. I need to bring that down. To bring it down, that basically means increasing the length of the antenna. Or, as RadioWavz recommends, they're like, well, before you go through the whole part of increasing the physical size of the antenna, the lengths of the wire, why don't you put down some radials? Which blew my mind, because I'm only used to using radials for verticals, right? Radial is not necessarily... A radial is a counterpoise if it's on the ground. If it's off the ground, it's a counterpoise, right? I found that crazy. I was almost not willing to believe it, so I was like, well, I've got to try it. Well, that's what's wrong with me. There we go. I have to try it just to see if that works, because I want to believe. I want to believe. Lower equals longer. That's right, Jason. So yeah, if I want to go lower, I got to go longer. But then they're like, well, environmental conditions, particularly soil in and he mentioned California specifically. He's like, whenever we sell these antennas in California, we have to do things around the environment and the antenna to lengthen it. Magical RF lengthening. Wow, Flatus for LA says, I love my wife, so I can't put that on my roof. Any suggestions for it? Well, I'm not going to answer your question because I don't love my wife, apparently. That's what you think. That's what you think. You can get out of here. You can take your question and scram. saying I don't love my wife. Actually, implying I don't love my wife. Okay. And George Donaldson. Ooh. He's got a regular DeLorean front control panel here for his time machine / ham shack. Love that. Oh, he's just killing it with these pictures. He's just going full. This is like his Tinder page for his ham radio Tinder. Look at that, showing off that 73. Look, or that 7300. Wow, I am jealous. William Dickinson has got some like really good ideas here. Bring her in and have her give her review of I may do that at the end of the review. Hey, honey, what do you think of the new antenna? Do you like it? There you go, Garrett Larson. That's a good one. I like it. That is a big monitor, sir. That is a big monitor. So that's a 7300 under that thing. So 7300 looks like it's this big, and that monitor is big. That is a big monitor. I had to look at my 7300 and kind of like... That is impressive. That is very impressive. Okay. I thought we had some more. All right, maybe I can... Maybe. Hold on. 34-inch wide. Yeah, it shows, man. Oh my gosh, why am I lagging? I need a stream computer. I need a new computer for streaming. I've earned it. I've used this thing since 2011. I think we've looked at all these. Evan is in the chat. One of the original winners of the ham radio crash course shacks. That is I still love looking at that. So does Dan Aykroyd. Okay. So what do we got? Let's check the chat. Joe Wilson, I have no idea what you're talking about. Joe Wilson, what about using a coil to increase the resonant length? Yeah, you could do that. So interestingly enough, so this is why this whole thing's a little weird. N2 Sol Radio, I will add you shortly. Well, hold on, let me see. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? I don't see you yet. By the way, we had 2 people joining the Ham Radio Crash Course. Link is in the description if you want to join the Facebook group. Thank you for saying YouTube. Thank you for saying YouTube. If you say YouTube, that usually helps, and you give your call sign. That's even faster. But you don't have to. Now I totally forgot what I was going to talk about. Oh, the loading coils. So the cool thing about the 40 meter short is that it has a insulator for use with the cordage. So all you need to do is tie a taut line hitch, which I think is probably one of ham radio's most important antenna knots, is a taut line hitch. So make sure you learn that if you want a Boy Scout. So all you need to do is do like a NASA or a linesman splice, solder that on, heat shrink it, add about a foot and a half. I can measure it out though because I have my readout from my SWR meter, my antenna analyzer, and then you just attach the cordage right back to it. So what I find interesting, let me go back a step too here. When the antenna came from RadioWavz, the 40 meter short seemed short to me. It actually, the antenna was nicely kind of pitched. All the elements had a reasonably nice tension to them. And then I put the 40 on and it kind of went, whoop. So it made all the other elements looser. So I actually had to go around. I thought that's how it was supposed to be. I had to go back around and kind of tighten up all the elements. So it's possible that it actually is short. So, Garrett Larson, where in California are you? If you're too close to me, I won't be able to hit you. I might be able to hit you with that dipole though, because I'm still toying around with the 40. I can't really work anybody with it yet, because it's just it's way out, and it's got this weird radiation pattern. Oh, hey, I like that. N2 Sol Radio, he knows what's up. He was like, thanks for the join. All right, Chris is in. Somebody else requested, but he said he posted a picture of his shack. Okay, so we're gonna live. Oh, where is it? I don't see it, buddy. Oh, Patrick Hall. That's right. I got to go back to Patrick's too. What time is it? I got a couple more minutes. We'll do that. We'll do it live. Hold on. Here we go. I don't see it, bud. Where'd you post it? I don't see it, man. I'm gonna have to refresh. Before I do that, though, here, let me show you. You got a video. Yeah. You can't hear it yet. Hold on. I like the living room lamp that he's got. This is my style of either from he was like my ham radio brother right here. It's just all like, let's throw it all in there. We need all the things, guys. Oh, I like that boom setup. That's nice with an SDR. There's an icon. Come on, sound. Hold on 1 second. We'll get you that sound.
Use the
there we go.
RTR-2 for switching from the receive-only antenna to the HF antenna. And like I said, it's a nice little shack.
Yeah, it is a nice shack.
12 foot by 24 foot. I wished I could have got a bigger one, but at the time just couldn't afford to get one.
He's packed a lot in there for 12 foot to 24 foot.
Got a few projects going on. Got stuff on
Ethan's in the house.
everywhere.
Ethan, are you back in the United States?
Like I said,
did that happen? I thought it was like the 6th.
But I really like it.
Or was it yesterday?
And, I plan on getting me a really plush chair later on. So
I could like go sleep, like go to sleep in that shack, like
I got
cuddle
a lot
up with
of
that
storage
shack.
stuff.
Oh, he's got a couch. I could go sleep on the couch.
This end of the shack is more or less the man cave.
That is
I've got
pretty nice.
55-inch screen TV, microwave, refrigerator.
I like that there's just no,
toaster
there's nothing
oven,
pretty in that.
pot,
There's no decoration.
Got
the
up there in
stuff,
the corner,
the
got
things are the
German
decoration.
version of a George.
I don't know about those empty bottles of water. I don't know what that's about.
Here, I sleep down here sometimes.
Sometimes I sleep down here when I piss my wife off.
Here, which I can check stuff while I'm over here.
Yeah, he's a left-handed mouse operator.
One of the neatest things I did was when I put this TV.
I'm left-handed. I don't do that.
TV over here
and he's watching Full Metal Jacket.
Sometimes when I'm at the shack piddling over there, I want to watch the news or something. So I put this.
I don't
TV
want to get a strike.
On a piece of wood hinged into the main.
Okay, all right, that's good. I don't want to get a strike from watching Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, Jim said if you have an argument with the wife, you can hide in there for weeks. Yeah, exactly. Okay, somebody else has. So we're just doing live submission. 2 people now. We're gonna cross 80 this week. It's pretty good. What just happened? I said join. Come on. There we go. Who is it? Castle Block. Hotchnot. See? Look at that. Okay. Steve Kalal, is that you? Are you Castle Block? Kazal Block? You didn't say anything, man. I don't think... You don't necessarily have to, but you also got to catch me on not a stream if you're going to kind of play those shenanigans. You got to make it easy for me. Can't have me running around. I am a lefty. Oh, Christine, you're actually on your own... wait. You were on Wicked Perfect, And now you're on... Okay. Good. Good. Did you make an account just to hop on the live stream? We appreciate it if you did. Okay. All right, so... Kevin Smith, I'm going for my tech next Thursday. I almost fell out of my chair when Kevin Smith tried to join the ham radio crash course like last week or the week before. I was like, is it the Kevin Smith? But I was like, that's probably a pretty common name. So I was like, yeah, just let him in. That's you, I assume. Okay, so Steve Kalal. We're going to wait on you for a little bit. All right. Hashnasi, why aren't you OTA to test this new Hex Beam? I'm doing the live stream. I had to show you all my trials and tribulations for when I get that thing rocking. It works great. It works great during the day for 20 meters or low or higher than that. Just kills it. And I just need to get the 40 going. I don't think I'm that far away though. Mike Baxter on the HRCC. Yeah, I need to try and work those guys, but they're so close to me. Working HF is going to be tough. That's actually a thing, because if you don't have two stations working NVIS, it's kind of hard to actually talk locally to HF. It can be difficult. That's no joke. All right, so what was the last one? CQDX WH6GL. I could probably hit you. No, with the 40. Oh, Christine. No, I thought you were on Wicked Perfect's channel, because then you commented and then said Christine, and now you're on your channel. So I was wondering if you made a new channel just on YouTube, or you weren't on your phone or something. I don't know. You're probably driving around with him. You guys go out and get a lot of good food. I see his pictures all the time on Instagram, and I'm like, man, I remember when I didn't have kids. All right, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I had a lot of fun today, guys. I'm going over to Discord. I don't know if you're going, but we do the live stream after chat there. It's a voice stream. It's a lot of fun. You can stay in the chat room. You can join the voice chat and then just mute yourself. You don't have to talk, and you can just listen to me. And you can type chat just like this, but we just go longer, kind of, and other people drive the topic. I don't. So I have no hand in it. I mean, I do talk a lot, but you're going to get that no matter where you go. If I'm there. All right. That'll do it. Ethan posting the links that got that hot minute there. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm going to lose my mind if I will never forgive myself. Okay. Thank you to the patrons, each and every one of you. The newsletters went out not too long ago. It was about my thoughts on DXpeditions. I personally love them. I also talked about the NASA ISS SSTV. I don't want to say debacle, but kind of a weird situation. So if you're interested in the newsletter, it's $1 to become a patron, and you get access to it every month. New newsletter in your inbox. So check out the link in the description if you'd like to do that. But for my producer patrons, want to say a big thank you for all you do. Man, I need to apparently increase the font or make a new slide. Those are getting tiny even for me. Michael Nieswender, Chris Ebert, Carrie Blackwell, who, spoiler alert, I think I'm going to be having an interview with Carrie, which is going to be a lot of fun. One of the star pupils of the HRCC. Jason Siebert, David Dansereau, Danny Miller, Franklin Lewis, Brad Snyder, Ben Kellum, Dean Johnson, Kenneth Miyamoto, Andy, Mike Baxter, Colorado Ham, Devin Hodge, Gareth Broadhead, Dennis Dunderdale, Anthony. Andy, that's right. Anthony is different from Andy. I had to remember that when I was filling out the postcards. Justin Blackburn, Garrett Larson, the infamous No Name. Dennis Mickelson, George Gaini, Jason Brown, Richard Dragon, KG6WFR, Mark Chase, Corwin Crandall. Yeah, I need to make the font bigger. Man, I'm getting old. Ron Thorson, Jay English, new subscriber who I talk to a lot on Facebook these days. And, of course, the Brew Crew. Thank you so much, guys. Packing it up, and I'm heading over to Discord. So, hope you come on by and say hi. Take it easy. See ya.